Okay.
All right, I'm going to read a short little opening and then we'll get into the questions. Okay. Today is August 10th, 2019. It is about 2 p.m. This is Luciana Spraker representing the City of Savannah's Municipal Archives. I'm interviewing Mr. Roosevelt Brownlee for the City of Savannah's Frogtown, Yamacraw, and West Broad Street History Roundup Day project. We are conducting this interview at the Georgia State Railroad Museum. Today we'll be discussing the history of the West Broad Street area and the surrounding neighborhoods. Thank you for joining us today. So let's start by having you tell us your full name.
My name is Roosevelt Brownlee Jr.
Junior, okay. And what neighborhood will you be sharing with us today?
City Market area, Bryant Street, the Yamacraw.
Okay. And when were you born?
January 29, 1947.
And where were you born?
419 East Oglethorpe Avenue,
Okay.
Savannah, Georgia.
And what were your parents' names?
Roosevelt Brownlee and Ida Mae Small.
Small?
Yes.
Okay. And what did your parents do for a living?
I guess you could say labor. My dad, it wasn't until after I got into junior high school that he became a merchant marine. But he worked at Hodge Optical. He worked to deliver glass, help fix glasses. He's Bull and Oglethorpe. We used to be across from the Girl Scout building.
Okay. When he was in the Merchant Marine, was he gone a lot?
He said he was a fireman. And I guess whatever that job consisted of.
Right. Did your mom work or did she stay at home?
No, she worked also. She had a few jobs.
All right. And where did you grow up?
I grew up on. I grew up Bryant Street, in the City Market area, and on the east side. So I had dual back and forth,
You want talk a little bit about the City Market area? What it was like growing up there?
It's fun.
A lot going on there, right?
Lots going on.
What?
It seemed as though at that time, being a kid, you didn't want for a lot of things, especially at the market. Money, little nickel dime, when we want to go to the Dunbar Theater, we make a little hustle, pick up nails in the lane or sell bottles. We go behind Crest. Crest and the other stores on Broughton Street, we collect boxes because the merchants at the City Market used to buy boxes 2 cents a penny, and if you can stack them right, each load you can make $15. Look, as long as you want to work and do it. There were guys who did it as part of their everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
And we just hustled a little, here and there. Fruits, veggies, it was all around, at the market.
A lot of activity coming in and out.
Coming in and out. Trucks. Where I lived at 316. That was on the 3rd floor, and it overlooked Franklin Square and First African Baptist Church.
Is that building still there?
No, it's a parking lot. It's the Vinnie Van Gogh,
Mm-hmm.
right on that corner.
Mm-hmm.
Used to look right down at it. And Mr. Brown Seafood Fish Market was on the other end. It was pretty happy. I mean, as kids, we run down to Yamacraw, we play in the park, come back, and play on St. Julian Street, 'cause that was our football field on Sundays. All of the cars would leave. So we have an open space. Or we go down to Yamacraw with those bad guys.
Was it tougher in Yamacraw?
Well, Frogtown. The wild people in Frogtown. That's what we used to call it. But I could travel in those areas without being harassed because of, I guess, my aunt and them. They were entrepreneurs. So if one of the ladies see me, oh, that's so-and-so boy,
And they lived in those neighborhoods.
Right, in Frogtown. And my uncle was Yamacraw. I had two uncles. One was on Ann Street and the other on Zula. And both of them, well, they had little shops. And they sold candy, what have you.
Would you call those confectionaries?
Yeah, yes.
What were their names?
I can't remember.
You don't remember?
I can't remember.
Were they your father or your mother's brothers?
My father's brothers.
So your father's brothers lived in Yamacraw, and then you had an aunt in Frogtown.
Well, no, I had an aunt. My mother's aunt actually lived on Bryant Street, and she was also an entrepreneur. But by them being known, if somebody see, oh, that's so and so, so I had not a free pass, but I wasn't harassed.
But you also couldn't get away with anything
either.
No.
No, we go shoot marbles. You gotta be prepared. If you're too good, they put big boys on you. Same way in Yamacraw. You play with guys your age, all of a sudden you got the big boys coming in. So cause they were rough in Yamacraw, but I learned a lot actually from Yamacraw and on the east side as far as sports, baseball and basketball. Cause had some good guys. But when I was coming up, we looked up to.
Yeah. Were there any named teams, or was it just kids organizing, but it wasn't?
I didn't play organized ball until I went to the boys club.
Was that Callan's boys club?
Frank Callan, yeah. I was a member, they told me, since I was 3. So when I finally moved to the east side, then we
what neighborhood was it on the east side?
Crawford Square. Crawford Square. Actually, well, we moved. My father was living on State Street, State and East Broad, and they moved from there to Price and McDonough, because I guess when my stepmother got pregnant, it needed to expand, so we moved to that place, and that was Crawford Square. But
so when you're living in City Market, were there a lot of other kids right in City Market too?
Yeah, my friends on Bryant Street. We had our little posse.
Okay.
There was.
You don't really think of that as being a residential neighborhood.
No, because for example, at that time my best friend lived right over Bryant Fish Market. And then we had little Bubba and his sister, and they lived right next to Springfield, which is a restaurant on Bryan Street, which was pretty famous.
So do you know about when you moved from that area to the east side? Was it before or after they tore down the City Market building?
This was doing actually when they start destruction of it, that's when we moved.
So how did people that live there feel about that?
It was pretty. In other words, I'll give you an example. Folks come all over from South Carolina. They would come to City Market every Saturday to do their little shopping. Mm-hmm. There were a lot of shops there during the holidays. It was vibrant. But with a lot of the places gone, it was just Broughton Street and, West Broad Street was always, 'cause when they come, they go Broughton Street, West Broad Street. Those were the only two streets that they would go shopping on, and in City Market. And it locked down a lot of things, a lot of business opportunity for, I guess, local farmers, they call them now. Mm-hmm. Local people with farms and trying to sell their goods. The guy who used to come with a bunch of rabbits, now he's stuck. Things like that. Turtle eggs, go to jail now. So much. But it really affected a lot of people, even though they probably didn't know it, but it did.
I would think it would certainly have changed that as a community to live in. That you've lost that sense of community when the building went.
Like I said, we left. We left during the destruction because we moved to on the east side there, and then I went to stay with my dad actually.
When you go back down to what we call City Market now, that area, what do you think of it now?
I'm not that pleased in some area, because this is my personal thing. They have laws, governing. It's the church there that's in City Market that I'm kind of displeased with, because on New Year's now they drop the ball or what have you, but that's a historical site, and they do the watch New Year's, and you got people partying and don't consider this ritual, that the church have there, because that's one of the oldest, but there's no respect for that. Everybody partying, celebrating, and you come out of church, and that's me. Mm-hmm. That's my thing, because they don't have it in a lot of the other historical churches in their area. They don't have any of that shenanigan going, mm-hmm. But that's just me. Because coming up, the history there. I can remember sometime they had the buzzard route. I don't know if anybody know about the buzzard route. Guys look for a job, day workers, day laborers, mm-hmm. they call it. Mm-hmm. Used to stand right in front of City Market. Mm-hmm. I mean, not City Market,
Franklin
City Hall.
Square, City Hall.
City Hall and Franklin Square. They always be there.
And that's called the buzzard route?
Well, yeah, they named City Hall when they stand in front of City Hall. That's what they call it. Because the guys used to be on the wall, you know. But they named it the buzzard route. But in Franklin Square, sometimes the church come out and, you know, pass out a little something for the guys. Not all of them. A lot of guys drink or what have you. And there was a lady there, I forgot her name. They used to give respect. They used to give, you know, a lot of respect. But I don't know. That, like I say, that's just mine.
Sure.
My
This is all about your memories and your opinions. So, excuse me, having spent a lot of time going from City Market to Yamacraw and crossing Old West Broad Street, what are your thoughts about how Yamacraw Village maybe has changed over time, and West Broad Street, now Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, how that's changed?
Well, there was, we had rituals, like some Saturdays, we would go to South Carolina. There was a fella that lived in the wildlife refuge. He lived way back up in there. He would come to town on Saturdays, and my friends, little kids, all of us, we would ride back with them, because he would do his Saturday shopping. We would go back with them to open the gates, you know, in the plantation, so like the cows and the sheep's clothes. We would do that on some Saturdays. Some Saturdays we'll go to the movies, especially Last LaRue, those cliffhangers. We gotta go see this or that. And we walk. Either we walk up part of Montgomery Street, cut over to bypass the train station, go up and zigzag to get, you know, or if we go into we call a Tompkin swimming pool, we walk up West Broad Street. There was one time, since I was with some friends, those Frogtown boys, they had us going up Montgomery Street instead of West Broad Street because they thought we were a little gang. And it wasn't that the guys our side, it was the bigger guys, you know. So you got to go through Frogtown to get on the other side. Once you're on the other side, if you can pass the Dunbar Theater, then you're home. Oh boy, think of those days. But we walk up and down West Broad Street, you know, all the time. Yeah. Otherwise, we go Montgomery Street. We walk down Montgomery sometime to 37th, because we got to get to 39th and Okeechee Road. And we walk all the way to 37th, cut through, go to the swimming pool, because that was the only pool we had, other than, you know. But during my time, I was one of my little posse, we swam in Savannah River when we couldn't, you know, go that far sometimes. Sometimes you gotta be in Holland distant, you know.
The river's pretty fast moving though, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. But there, you know, we had a little thing. At the cove, we had a little cove we swim in at Barnett and Bay, right, well, Barnett and Rivers,
Okay.
where they parked that ship. Well, there was wooden step, and then there was a thing we used to dive off of. And if the water's running fast in that cove, then, you know, we'll know how long we need, tide coming in or coming out, or just right. You know, we learned a lot. But that was part of, I guess, growing up in that area. It was good. I consider, we poor but didn't know we were poor. But we enjoyed life, had a good time.
What were some of your favorite memories of this area?
My favorite memory. Oh wow, I have quite a few, but I can recall one good thing that made me felt really good. Right behind Little Bryant Church, the boys were flying kites, and that was the first time I got my kite to go up. I didn't know how to fly a kite. And those guys in Yamacraw, sometimes, we'll be Bryant Street, and you see a kite up in the air, oh, wow, they hit that spot. So you want to go and try to get your kite to go. And that first day I got a kite to go up. That was a cherry. Because, they ridiculed me for a minute. You don't know how to fly a kite, but I finally got a kite to go up.
Were these kites that you guys made yourselves?
No, I bought mine, but see, there were guys who were doing it with the newspaper. They were good. They were good. And to get recognized a couple times playing ball in the little park. They had a little park that was, Little Bryant Church. Behind the church, there was an opening, and guys get together. But when you have some of the people that lives in that little quarter can watch the game from their porches, so they always rooting for the kid they know. But when I stood out one day and they didn't know me, so that was a good thing. Yeah.
So did you feel like you were always a little bit of an outsider because you weren't from Indiana?
No. My uncle, like I said, I had two uncles. One was on Ann Street, right across from Yamacraw, and the other one on Zubila. And they, let's say confection. Just Mary Jane, Squirrel Nuts, Johnny Cakes, all that, and sodas, peanuts and stuff. But like I say, he was an entrepreneur. So, I go around there, hang out, didn't matter.
Well, I think you've hit all my questions. Is there anything you want to share with us that I haven't asked you?
Wow. Actually, I went to West Broad Street School.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Yes. I went to West Broad Street School, and
tell me about like a teacher there that made an impact.
There were actually two. Miss Curley, my first grade teacher, Miss Curley. That was her name at that time before she married Coach Morris, Johnson High School coach. She made a real good impression on me, and I'll never forget. I learned to write my name, and she brought me a rooster.
A rooster?
Yeah, because it was two O's after the after the R. It was good. I liked that. And my classroom, we were in I guess a utility building behind the main school. When we started off, I think it was two of them there, and there was the bathroom was in between. But my uncle shop, confectionery, was on the other side of that wall. there was a wall there, and it's just on the opposite side of it. And sometimes, you know, being class, you can hear a little coming from the shop, you know.
What, in the classrooms there, did you have like the desks that were attached to the chairs or?
Yes,
Yeah.
those steel.
And old chalkboards and things like that?
I forgot. Slippy stuff in the front,
Mm-hmm.
you know, wasn't lift up, slide in.
Slide in, okay.
And,
And your chair was attached to the person's desk behind you?
I think so. I believe so. I believe it was. So, but then, no, not in that building. In the when I went to, I think it was third grade. I went to third grade, I believe. That's when we had the attachment. Because I moved into the building.
The main building.
The main building.
I think they've called the building you're talking about the annex building. Other people refer to it as the annex.
Oh, okay.
Out in the back, sort of on the
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
So you could hear people at your uncle's shop making noise. Okay. All right. Do you remember trolleys or streetcars going down West Broad Street, or had they already switched to buses?
No, there were buses.
Do you remember Union Station?
Yeah, we used to pass through. You know, and never go in because as part of Frogtown, you gotta be. You have to walk light. Those some bad guys around.
No.
And they, you know, they come from everywhere all of a sudden. But you know, and they know you when you're not. Oh boy, those were good days. I mean, I appreciate that time, but you know, because keep you awake, you know, get you pumped up.
All right. Well, do you have anything else you want to add?
That's about it. Other than watching Daddy Grace parade from my window. You know,
Describe that for people who don't know what that is.
Daddy Grace, the House of Prayer. They do every year, and Daddy Grace will come to town, and they kick off at First African Baptist Church, and they have a little light service there, and that's where you see all these ladies with chiffon yellow dress and purple, blue, all marching up Montgomery Street. And I can remember Martin won't let me ride in the parade with the bicycle crew, because they had the bicycles used to lead the parade, and it seemed like every kid that had a bicycle was in.
And why wouldn't you be allowed?
It was too many, and you know, it was dangerous. It was so many. When they're coming down Montgomery Street, they'll go up and come back down. It sounded like a swarm or a hornet. Zzz, the bicycles, they roll. It must be, had to be 500-600 guys riding bikes. Yeah, it was packed. And that was one of the highlights. The bicycle riders coming through, and Daddy Grace and the band and all those ladies and church people dressed up, and I mean dressed up.
When did they stop doing those?
I don't know. I know when we moved from Bryant Street. Actually, I never got a chance to see the parade at the beginning. I would always catch part of it, and sometimes they didn't want me going on the west side, 'cause I was still young and had to be. But I think the last parade I saw probably was about 1957, 58, something like that. Probably that time when they were carrying him out, setting him up. Then when I got a little bit older, I think it's probably about 58, we followed the parade to Grapevine Avenue.
Mhm.
That was, oh boy. Somebody said something, and it triggered a memory,
It must have been impressive to watch.
Oh, it's wow. It's hard to describe, especially looking down with all the colors, and it was mostly the ladies dressed up different. It was something, a sight to behold.
Mm-hmm.
And see when they bring him out, sit him on that float in the chair, See, yeah, daddy, oh, when they're coming out, everybody's waiting for the music to kick up. Daddy Gray's time come. Oh, boy. And everybody danced. Spectators on the side, because they're waiting for that. That parade kicked off.
Wonder if there's video footage of that somewhere. Like it'd be early, it'd be scratchy film, but that would be interesting to see.
Yeah. I know the Picture Man. We used to see the Picture Man all the time. I call him the Picture Man. But he had a photo shop. He took pictures all the time by the Star Theater. Because I remember sometime you can go in there and get a picture taken of you, and he'd put it in the window so people would come by. Hey, I saw your picture.
Is it Sam something?
I don't know.
I could probably look it up. Tell me, since you brought up the theater, and I think you mentioned the Dunbar too, tell me a little bit about the theaters that were on West Broad Street.
Well,
The Star
we
and
go
the
to
Dunbar.
Go to the Dunbar Theater, like I said, Saturdays and so to see. Or if it's a new movie coming, Technicolor and CinemaScope. When they first showed that at the Dunbar, wow! All my friends, we come in to see that movie, whatever it was, because it was so colorful, We were used to seeing a lot of black and white and stuff, and now all of a sudden now Technicolor CinemaScope. And you can buy a hot dog, all that in there, sit down, eat candies. We used to get the Fifth Avenue, long ones, Butterfinger, where you get in the store, you get the little one, there you get the long one. We used to like to go there for that. And the Star Theater, which was a little more crisp.
That was the fancier of the two? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, a little more crisp. Because the Star, they had a hotel up above the Dunbar Theater. Used to be a hotel. And I heard a lot of musicians when I used to tell them I was from Savannah. They'll ask me about the Dunbar Theater, the hotel up there, because that's where they would stay when they come to Savannah.
How did you feel during the 1960s when they had the urban renewal that basically cleared all that stuff out, all those buildings?
Well, I wasn't so I wasn't so excited about that because Paderewski the tailor was going. You know, we used to when as we got older, you can go get tailor-made stuff now. You know, get stuff designed how you like it. And Paderewski used to do a lot of good work. But my dad used to go there, other people, and all of that was going, you know. And by that time, I guess I was getting involved in high school. Plus, I was living with my dad, so life kind of changed a little bit. You know, I became, I'm not going to say a Christian or whatever, but close to it, you know, other than being a wild kid, you know, running around younger. But now, I'm tame, you know. So I couldn't, and they were trying to put a rein. So you need to give an account of where you're at, or you can't go over there because those people are bad over there. And I used to think when my stepmother used to say that, my dad would be gone. I said, no, don't. You only knew. I come from Yamacraw. Yeah, you only knew. But life changed. Life changed, and I became. But it changed actually when I moved from there. It actually changed. But things kind of, I want to say, looked up for me in a way. I believe Reverend Gilbert prayed for me. Well, prayed for me and my friends, you know. And I think it came out all right because whatever folks been looking after me all this time, it kept me on the, I guess, straight.
Well, you're here.
Yeah, it kept me straight, you know. I haven't been in that kind of trouble also, you know. But I took a picture of the seat, well, the First African Baptist Church, the spot I sat in when Reverend Gilbert was praying for us. Because we sat in the front row, little kids, you know. And I look back as an adult and I see the benefit, but years I couldn't see anything going, you know, with that. Matter of fact, it didn't hardly ever cross my mind until they were doing something. We went to a Kwanzaa celebration at, I think at First African, and it was one of the day, and Otis Johnson and a couple of them were doing a speech there, and it all that stuff beating on me because I hadn't been inside that church since the 50s. You know? So I started to memories start coming, and all I can do is just stare at Reverend Loudon. But
well, I think I've covered everything. You good?
I'm good.
You're good? Okay. Well, I want to thank you for sharing your time and your memories and thoughts with me today. I appreciate it. Yeah.
little memories I had.
No, it's
Good.
wonderful. You brought a different aspect today, talking about city market area. So I think that's wonderful. I appreciate
Well,
it.
just was a few of us kids lived there. And I went to First African Baptist Church to find out if they had a record. Boy, do they have records.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah.
Of me, because the church secretary, because she had to get our name and everything. But, there's a fella that still lives on Congress Street up above, I guess, Garibaldi, somewhere there. He's the oldest member of the church. He still lived
He's
there.
been there all that time.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Alright. Thanks. Alright, that's off. That's off.